Hello, welcome to Hike Arizona. This is getting started with Route Manager. Let's go over and click on our map icon to get into the map. And once we are in the map, we will want to go to the Route Manager tab. Okay, what is a route? Well, let's click on Help so that you know where the instructions are if you ever need them. And I am going to read the first paragraph. A route is a collection of tracks and/or waypoints. Waypoints are also known as points of interest. Route Manager allows you to create and/or edit routes. These routes can then be downloaded for your GPS unit. That would be a dedicated GPS unit. These routes can also be imported into our app HasTracks, which is an app for iPhones and Android devices. So you can follow along on the trail. How cool is that? It's so cool that you're going to want to do it. So let's get started by zooming in on the map, and I'm just going to pick an area. I am going to right click on my map and switch over to satellite view. The reason that I go to satellite view in Route Manager is I can zoom in further, 4 levels further than a topo map. So let's just say, oh yeah, boy, I just want to hike here. Well, we have 2 things that we can add to this map. We can add tracks and we can add waypoints. Let's go ahead, if we click waypoint, it's going to put it at the center crosshair there. So let's go ahead and add a waypoint. And my point of interest. Click on done. Let's go ahead and start forming some good habits here. We are going to save this route before we do anything else. My first hike. The reason that we save it is because if anything happens, it is now saved to the Has cloud. You can access it on any desktop or laptop that has internet access. Let's go ahead and let's add a track, because this is where the fun begins. Okay, it tells us to click the map to add track points. So let's say that I have a parking lot here, although you don't see it. I'm going to click to add my first point, and then I will keep clicking to add more points. And I'm going to just hike right on by that point of interest. It's probably a nice big palm tree or something. Okay, so I have my first track. Let's go ahead and we can name that over here. My first track. And this green save means that it needs to be saved. So I'm going to save it. Means we're good to go. If I close the browser now, I can open it up and I can reopen this because it has been saved. Let us look at a couple other things on this before we create another track. I'm going to zoom in here. If you want to delete a point, you re-click it. Boom, it's gone. If you want to add a point, obviously you click over here, adds a new point. But if I wanted to add one in the middle, these little transparent center midpoints, you can drag them to add points. Boom, new point. Okay, let's add a second track. I'm thinking, hey, you know what? I'm a super stud. I am going to do a loop hike. So let's go ahead and save it. I could rename it, but I'm going to show you something else before I do that. I'm going to actually combine these two to make it a loop hike. So what would I do here? Well, first I want to turn edit off on that second track. And we can click the track, and you click it where you want to do an action. When you hover over the track, notice how it says my first track, click to edit in the blue there on the screen, and below it you see a black line. That's because that's the color of the track. If we go to the red track, you'll see, oh, there's red. Notice how it's short on this end, which means that's the beginning, and it's long at that end, which means you're getting towards that end, to the further end. So you know what end you're hovering over when you hover over it. So let's go ahead and click it. and I want to join this. This gives you a options you can do with the track. I'm going to join it to the other track. Since I clicked it at that end, it will start the join at that end. And now, if I click it there, it will join on that end. If I click it over there, it will join on that end. I want to click it over here. I could also cancel this by re-clicking the black track, but I do want to join it. So boom, we did our join. That's why I didn't rename it, because I knew I was going to join it. I do want to save it. And whew, quarter-mile hike. I don't know if I can hack that. You know what? Let's. This is what I came to see. I came to see that nice palm tree right there. So I am going to split this track, and we are going to delete this huge loop that I did here. So I'm going to click the track, and I'm going to delete it. Boom, it's gone. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Okay, now this isn't a huge hike, but what if I want to have some nice statistics for my out and back? Well, I want it going, out there, and I want it going back. So I need to clone it. So I click on the track, anywhere to clone it, and I click on clone. Okay, notice how the track is black. When I clone it, it's going to create a new track, and it's going to put the new track on top. Now I want to join these to create an out and back. So I go over here and I will click on the black to bring it forward. And you could click on the green to bring it forward. But it is the black I want. And I will join these two. So now, better save it before you always be getting the good habit of saving. Let's go ahead and look at our profile. So we can see that we start over here. We go all the way out here, and then we go back home after we see our palm tree. Okay, so now there's a couple things. Well, what are you going to do with this? Well, if you have the HasTracks app, you can just go under Files on that and click on Route Manager and boom, import it. If you're old school, you might have a dedicated GPS unit, which is also probably a better idea if you're going to be hiking in the rain, unless you have a nice waterproof phone. So we could download it. I'll click on download, and it gives you the option to rename it in all kinds of formats. Well, probably 99 times out of 100 you're going to need the GPX format. It's the universal format. So let's go ahead and use that. And boom, there it goes into my download folder. I would then plug my GPS device into my computer and drag that file into probably the GPX folder if it's a Garmin. How else might we be able to use this? Well, we could share it with a friend. So we could get a link and we could send that link in an email to a friend. It gives you a couple different view options, street, terrain, and topo. I always like the terrain layer. It opens really nice and quick. It tells you down here that the access is set to private. Anything you create is automatically started as private, so we would need to switch it to public or friends to share it. Then you could click on this and you could copy it, like I say, put it in an email, send it to a friend. The arrow means you can open it in a new window. That's pretty much it for getting started. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Ooh. Let's go see what we have. Oh, there I have on my HasCloud. It's my first hike.